You probably think scams only happen to careless people, right? People who should have known better. Well, this story will change your mind because this one started with a simple mistake, a wrong number, and ended with a life shattered. A young Omani man answered one random call, and that single moment destroyed everything he knew. By the end, you'll question what's real, who to trust, and how far one lie can go. His name was Nasser. He wasn't famous. He wasn't rich. He was just an ordinary guy from Oman, kind, polite, soft-spoken. The kind of man who says, "Excuse me," even when someone bumps into him. He lived a simple life: work, prayer, family, sleep. He had never had a girlfriend. In fact, he'd never even been on a date. He used to tell himself, maybe love just isn't written for me. But sometimes fate doesn't knock on your door. It calls you instead. It was a quiet evening. His phone rang. A woman's voice said, "Hello, is this Khalid?" He frowned. "No, sorry, wrong number." "Oh, my mistake." Click. That was it. 10 seconds, maybe less. But something about her voice stayed in his head. It was calm, soft, the kind of voice that leaves an echo. He tried to ignore it, but curiosity is a tricky thing. Once it creeps in, it doesn't leave easily. He hesitated, then called the number back. "Hey, sorry, just wanted to check. Did you mean to call me earlier?" She snapped, "Didn't I tell you it was a mistake? Why are you calling again?" He laughed nervously. Then maybe this wrong number was meant to happen. There was silence. Then a small laugh from her side. That was all it took. That night turned into a conversation, and that conversation turned into another, and then another. Every night they talked about everything and nothing. She told her name was Rawan. She said she was 22, just like him. She lived in Oman, temporarily staying with her sister. And Nasser, he couldn't stop smiling when she called. Her laugh, her voice, the way she said his name. He'd never felt like this before. If you've ever fallen for someone you've never met, someone whose words felt like home, you know how dangerous that feeling can be. Because the heart doesn't care if it's real. Days became weeks. Their connection grew stronger. They started sending photos, simple ones at first. Rawan with her hijab on, smiling shyly. Nasser replied with his own, feeling proud of how handsome she said he looked. Then one evening, Rawan said quietly, "Can I trust you?" He said, "Of course." She whispered, "Promise you won't save this photo." He promised. But love, or what feels like love, makes people foolish. Soon came more pictures, then videos. She said she trusted him completely, and in his heart, he believed this was destiny. One night she said, "I need to tell you something." Her tone had changed, serious, uneasy. "I'm not Omani," she said. "I'm Yemeni. I'm only here visiting my sister." He hesitated. "So what? You could be from anywhere. I don't care." She smiled. "You'd still love me if I left?" He said, "More than ever. I'll wait for you." He meant it, every word. A week later, she said she was flying back to Yemen for 2 months. They promised to stay in touch. And for a few days, they did. She sent photos of her neighborhood, her family's house, even short videos of the mountains near Sana'a. Nasser loved seeing her world. Then one morning, silence. Her messages stopped. Her phone didn't ring. 1 day, 2 days, a week. Then, out of nowhere, his phone rang. He answered immediately. But the voice on the other end was not hers. It was a man's, deep, angry. "Are you Nasser?" "Yes, who's this?" "I'm her brother. You ruined her sister's life." "What? What are you talking about?" "I saw the messages, the pictures, the videos." "I didn't." "You did. Because of you, she's in the hospital, fighting for her life." And then came the words that made Nasser's knees shake.
I swear to God, I'll find you in Oman and kill you. Click. Silence. He couldn't breathe. He sat there staring at his phone, waiting for it to ring again. And it did. A different voice this time. Calmer, but colder. I'm calling her other brother, Med said. She's in critical condition. You'd better pray she survives. He stammered, Please, I didn't mean to. Save it. You'll be hearing from us again. They hung up. He didn't sleep that night, or the next. When the call came again, the voice said, She's still alive, but barely. The hospital bills are piling up. You want peace? Pay for her treatment. He froze. How much? We'll send you the bill. You'll transfer the money through one of our relatives in Oman. He agreed immediately. He didn't think. He didn't ask. He just wanted the nightmare to end. He sold his watch, then his phone, then borrowed from friends. He sent the money, a few hundred rials, then more. Each time they said, just one more payment, and this ends. But it never ended. Then came the message that broke him completely. She's dead. He dropped the phone. His hands were shaking. He felt the blood drain from his body. Rawan, gone. He remembered her laugh, the way she'd say, Good night, Nasser. Now all of it felt poisoned. He sat in silence for hours, staring at the ceiling, replaying every memory. He told himself, if I hadn't called her back, she'd still be alive. Days passed. Then another call. This time, I'm calling from the Omani embassy in Yemen. The man's voice was calm, professional, confident. The family has filed a case against you. They're demanding blood money, but we can settle this quietly. He gasped, Please help me. I didn't mean to. We understand. That's why we want to help, but it requires a payment of 6,000 rials. Once you send it, we'll close the file. He hesitated. 6,000? Yes, it's the only way to avoid legal trouble. The man even sent him a photo, an ID card with an embassy logo and an official stamp. It looked real. Everything looked real. He believed him. He borrowed from relatives, begged his cousins, even took loans. He gathered the money and sent it. But it didn't stop there. A few days later, another call. This time, the uncle of the girl. You did the right thing, son. We forgive you, but we want to honor her memory. We're building a mosque in her name. Anything you can give, God will reward you. Nasser's voice cracked. I have nothing left. Then God will know your intention. He sent another 1,000 anyway. He sold his car to do it. At this point, his life was falling apart. He barely ate. He barely spoke. He couldn't sleep without seeing her face in his mind. But when his father saw him borrowing money and selling his car, he demanded the truth. So he told them everything. When he finished, there was silence. Then his father said quietly, Son, do you really think the embassy calls people for cases like this? He blinked. What do you mean? The embassy doesn't solve murder cases on the phone. You've been scammed. The room went still. Nasser's heart sank. Scammed? But what about the photos, the ID, the family, the embassy? It didn't matter. They went to the police, and what they uncovered shocked everyone. There was no girl named Rawan, no hospital, no brothers, no embassy official. It was all fake. The girl was actually a man. The photos and videos were stolen from social media. The voices on the phone, all part of a network of scammers working between Oman and Yemen. They had chosen Nasser because he was kind, respectful, and trusting, easy to manipulate. But here's where the story takes another dark turn. When the case went to court, the scammers were acquitted. There wasn't enough evidence. The fake accounts were deleted, the SIM cards were gone. Justice slipped away. Authorities discovered they had collected over 10,000 Omani rials from multiple victims, all under the guise of charity or blood money. The scam was bigger than anyone thought. That's why laws later were strengthened in Oman and across the region. Because behind every charity, every good cause, there could be a story like Nasser's. So now let me ask you something. Be honest. Have you ever sent money online to help someone? Maybe a stranger, maybe a cause, without checking if it was real? Have you ever trusted too easily because you thought, what harm could it do? Comment below.